Hey there, everybody. Welcome to this Facebook Live and Insta Live. I'm Donna Hoffman. It's great to have you. I'm the interior design advocate, so I've been called, and I'm also been called one of the leading design coaches in the US because every week here we stop what we're doing at our luxury design studio, like to come out here and talk to you, teach lessons, and we also have amazing courses online that we teach to either help you get long-term results if you're doing, a room from scratch, or if you want to do something that gives you, I shouldn't say long-term, if you're doing a larger project. And then we have these quick result course as well. So we've got a lot of interesting things that we do, but I like to give back to the community, which is why I like to come out here and talk to you all across the US and beyond to help you with your design dreams and loves and your concerns, because I know you have all of them. So every week on Tuesday at 4 p.m., we stop what we're doing at our studio. And we come out here and I talk about a particular topic, teach a lesson, take your questions on that lesson. And last week, we talked about the perils of downsizing, what it is to go into smaller spaces and smaller space design and decorating. So this week, we thought, well, let's flip to the other side of that coin to the blessing and challenge of home ownership when you go into an upsize, when you're suddenly moving into a residence that's larger than what you've been used to. So what are the mistakes or the tripping points really that we see families and individuals get into pretty regularly when it comes to upsizing? Well, probably proportion is one of the biggest, as well as underestimating certain things and overestimating other things. So let's dial it back here. And I'll take your questions on large space decorating as well as open concept decorating if you have any of those questions. But first, onto the lesson. So what do I mean by overestimating certain things, underestimating other things, and having proportion issues? Well, for proportion, let's face it, if you are going to be upsizing into a larger residence, now you're talking about larger rooms, very possibly taller ceilings as well, right? You might be going from 8-foot ceilings now to 9-foot ceilings, or from 8-foot ceilings to 10-foot ceilings, depending upon how upsizey you're getting. So the scale of your rooms is getting larger. And very often, very commonly, when we're helping people with an upsize, the furniture that you already own has a very different proportion, much smaller proportion than what your new upsized home will need. In fact, I remember working with a lovely couple years ago, and in this very predicament, they were convinced that their dining room furniture would just seamlessly work in their new dining room. It looked like doll furniture. It looked so small. Everything just shrank up because the room proportion got so much bigger. The windows got bigger. The windows got taller. And just ceiling height expanded, room size expanded, so it almost looked like it was, Barbie doll furniture. Now, there are some workarounds you can do when furniture is too small, but they are Band-Aids. So what you need to know is that where you could be overestimating is the idea that a lot of your furniture that you think is a shoo-in will definitely work in the new space, maybe more of like a temporary placeholder, may not work as brilliantly as you think and hope that it will. So you may need to increase your furnishings budget even more than you expected when you're doing that upsize, for one of the simple reasons being that the furniture you own now is going to look too small in the new location. Something else is that your furniture count is going to not be enough, right? Even if every piece of furniture you own right now would work perfectly in your newer, larger spaces, you're not going to have enough. Your furniture is going to get swallowed up so fast. We just went through this with another family that we helped on an upsize. They could not believe how quickly all their furniture got sucked up into this big, larger home. Now, of course, we were doing creative things like, taking family room sofas from the former residence, and then we were splitting those sofas up to use, one went into a guest bedroom and another one went into a kind of a foyer area. There's a lot you can do to kind of re-envision your furniture. We talked about that last week, that just because something's in your living room now doesn't mean in the new space it wouldn't go, be broken into its components. The living room furniture you have now wouldn't be broken into its components, and then it could fill, a guest room, a home office, and and a sitting room off of a master bedroom. So definitely know that you, again, may be underestimating your furnishing costs, because what you have now is not only too low in number of items, but also size is going to be an issue for you. And I'll talk about some workarounds in a sec. We also talked about overestimating how much of your furniture you'll be able to reuse, and then underestimating your total costs. Now, here are some things that can really help you when you're upsize. Definitely want to encourage you to master the art of furniture space planning. If you don't know how to do that, learn it, because you become very powerful when you do that. You'll know how to reuse what you have and know what you need to add in. I had a great compliment from a builder recently who looked at something we designed for a family. He had built something for the home, and he said, my gosh, Donna, all of the furnishings that you reused from their former residence, he said, they look so seamless in this new residence. And how did he know we were reusing things? Because he saw it on our space plan. On your space plan, you want to do a little color code. We do them in red. You can pick your own color code or put a star on it. But mark on your furniture space plans, what's the reused, what are the reused items, so you know exactly what your shopping list is. It'll make that sourcing a lot easier, and it'll make your planning a lot easier as well. And if you are moving, whether you're upsizing or downsizing, let me just say as an aside, really good thing for you to do is start taking a catalog or an inventory of your furniture that you hope to reuse. Snap a picture of it on your phone, measure width and length and depth, print out all those pictures. Each item gets its own page. Plain printer paper is fine. And then with a black Sharpie marker, label it. You know, existing sideboard, 72 inches by 24 inches deep, 72 wide, you know, 18 deep, 72 wide, and whatever, you know, 36 high or whatever. So then you create a binder and you'll see exactly what your furniture inventory is. It's a great, great thing to do when you are doing any sort of move. Definitely upsize or downsize. Okay, so something else that will really help you when you're doing large space decorating, when I talk about doing great space planning, is for you to now stop thinking of rooms as single-use rooms and start thinking, particularly whether it's open concept or just a larger room, start thinking about zones. So let's say in this new, bigger, great room, it doesn't have to just be a seating area for TV watching. You might have an area that is perfect for TV watching with nice deep sofas or nice deep sectional, but there may be another area in this oversized or larger room. There might be a second zone. And that zone doesn't mean it has to talk to the people on the sofa comfortably. It's a second zone for use. And that would be maybe, I don't know, a game table. Or it might be a little reading nook, 2 chairs. And maybe that's where you're going to snuggle up with your children and, you know, read stories or something. So think about, with large space design as well as open concept, think about zones for usage and activity areas and how you start to break those up. Whereas in a smaller great room or family room, you know, it's soft seating with sofas and so forth, and that's all you're doing in there. Okay, so that can help you to open up your thinking, and that's why I said really mastering space planning, so you know how to do it like a design boss diva. It'll really help you. And then you also, when I talked about having some furniture proportion issues, something you can do when furniture is a little too small, this doesn't work all the time, it works some of the time. What you can do if you have, let's say, a chest that's too small for a location, maybe it's in, I don't know, a section of your living room or it's in a foyer, what you can do is add either artwork to the side of it. Maybe you stack, you know, if this is your chest, maybe you stack a picture and a picture to the side of it, and you're just kind of making it feel larger because you are putting that artwork in proximity to this smaller piece of furniture and you're adding more weight. Or you put a chair next to it and that's how you're adding more weight. Those kinds of Band-Aid moves can work once in a while, not all the time, but sometimes with wood furniture, those kinds of moves can work because you're adding something next to it. A chair, a floor plant, you know, really tall, I don't know, fiddly fig, me and my fiddly figs, or artwork, some sort of art display, okay, so, or a big oversized mirror, that kind of thing, floor mirrors. So those kinds of moves can help you somewhat with a piece of furniture that's too small. But if you have, you know, sofas that are too small for your new oversized family room, not a lot you can do to band-aid it. That they will always look like they're too small for this space, okay? But hopefully that one little proportion hack will help you with your wood furniture. And also something you really want to think about doing when you're upsizing, going into larger rooms, going into more open concept living, you have to learn how to nail color planning, because it becomes so important to think about how you're driving the eye through the room with color. So if you're, telling me, well, I'm kind of Cali casual and I like the whole white wall thing, okay, great. But what's happening within that? Because even if there are neutral colors being broadcast, the eye is looking for something to latch onto. And the better you are at moving the eye through the space, the bigger and more open your spaces are going to feel. The worse you are at doing that, the more you're going to chop up and chunk up your newer, bigger rooms. You don't want to do that. You want to make your square footage go, right? Really breathe. So those are just a couple of perils in the blessing and challenge of upsizing. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer those. And while I'm waiting for questions to come in, I just want to let you know that next week we are talking about a whole new topic in design, and it's how to actually accomplish your design goals. Okay, next week's topic is how to actually accomplish your design goals. It's a more general and softer subject, important subject, but you'll be able to throw in a couple of more general project questions to me as well. Happy to take your project questions now, as long as I don't need to see a picture of what you're talking about. Oh, the Design Diva conference. Oh my gosh, exciting things happening. We have some really, there it is, September 28th and 29th is a day and a half. I know you're like, Donna, look, we heard you talk about it. I know, but there are women who still want to come, you haven't gotten your ticket yet. Think about it, a day and a half immersion with an award-winning design team. We've got guest designers coming in for something really special as well. We're teaching you everything you need to know to re-envision the way you are looking at design right now in your home, so that you can leave this conference, go back home, work with what you already own, and just start making notable, gorgeous improvements in whatever room you want to, applying everything we're talking about. Everything from design hacks that will totally reinvent spaces and stop you from doing the common mistakes people are doing, to some really advanced design work, talking about rhythms and harmonies and balance points. And don't let that worry you, because the way I teach it, it is so accessible. And I'm telling you, game changer. You will never look at a room the same way. You will never look at your own home in the same way. And it's just going to be a wonderful design immersion for a day and a half, surrounded by other women who love the topic of design as much as you love it as well. And we also want you to bring pictures of a room that you're struggling with or that you're designing. You can bring samples and chips and swatches of whatever you're working on, whether it's a kitchen, a bath, a home office, whatever. And we're going to be doing some masterminding at the conference based upon everything that you're learning. So head to the interiordesignadvocate.com website, go to the events page so you can see the special agenda that we have for you, all the food that we're giving you, all the wonderful perks and so forth, and the wonderful pricing. Day and a half, you couldn't even spend 4 hours with a professional designer at that price and have the kind of takeaway that we're going to be doing, and community that you're going to enjoy as well. So spirit building as well. Alrighty, so questions coming in on Instagram. Any ideas for a rotunda that opens to a kitchen family room? Yeah, I would definitely look at doing a beautiful center hall table in that rotunda. You can also add a rug beneath it. You can either do a round rug. You could do a square, but I think round would be really nice with a round table on top. If you want to get fancy schmancy, there are ways to have a rug distributor cut a rug into an octagonally shaped rug, or a hex if you want, 6-sided instead of 8-sided. We just did that in a home. So beautiful. And the costing is not what you might think it would be. So I think that would be really handsome in your rotunda. And on top of a center hall table, you want to keep those accessories simple, clean, and strong, so you're not overdoing that table. If there's room for that center hall table in a rotunda, you can also do 2 ottomans, one on each side. You can do 4 tucked in really tight, Or you can just do one ottoman offside, you know, to do something kind of asymmetrical if you're a more asymmetrical design lover or modern, or you want to do something a little more kitchen different. So hopefully that helps you. That's a great question. So I love that. And good luck with your rotunda. And if that's part of an upsize, good luck with that too. And my glasses are filthy. All right, I'm just going to see if there are questions on Facebook and Insta. Feel free to keep forming in those questions. And I'm getting a lot of hellos and good afternoons. Hey from New Hampshire. Sherry is saying, great ideas. I'm so glad, Sherry. Anna's saying, can zones have 2 separate area rugs instead of one large? Yes, yes. This is a good question from Ann Clausen. Can zones in a room have 2 separate area rugs instead of one large room size area rug? You betcha. Especially, Ann, I like doing that if I find that it's such a large room. For example, we just did a really large guest bedroom suite. It had 3 rugs in it because we did a rug under the bed, a rug under another zone, which was a little seating zone with a sofa and chair. And then there's another zone where there's a desk, and we did a hide rug there. So yeah, rather than having a lot of empty space in the middle of a very large space, it can be very nice to break up your zones with rugs. Now what you can do, same rug, cut 2 different sizes if you're doing broadloom goods that you're then cutting. And if you don't know how to do that, send me a follow-up question. I'll explain that. Super easy. We do have a rug topic coming up in a couple of weeks, though. I think in a couple of weeks we do. We're doing rugs, area rug questions answered. But anyway, and if you're going to do like a hand-tufted rug or a hand-knotted rug, and then they don't have to be the same, but they want to be in conversation with one another. Okay, great question. I love how you're thinking. Definitely advanced thinking there. Linda McCone is saying, I have an open concept living room that has 3 openings. Oh, Linda, I feel your pain. All those openings make furniture arrangement tough. That's why I'm saying I feel your pain. I have an open concept living room that has 3 openings that are 8 feet wide and 9 feet tall. Wow. The ceiling in the living room is 12 feet. Should I use large trim casing around the 3 openings or standard 3.5 inch? You got 9-foot ceilings. I think you can go bolder on your cased openings there. That's what I would do. Without seeing pictures, Linda, I'd love to see pictures. And Linda, you are one of my students. So you can always post pictures of what you're considering. So you can post pictures in the private group that go, I'm speaking code here, sorry. Our courses have private Facebook groups that go along with them, because I really believe that design is not something you can learn well by reading a blog, by looking at Pinterest, or reading a design book. Meh, doesn't work. I really believe you need to be taught, you need to see it in action, which is why my courses are on video. And then you have a private Facebook group that you have access to, where you can post pictures for the whole community to look at, for my design team and I to look at as well. So that's why I'm inviting Linda. I recognized Linda to say, Linda, you can post a picture in the private Facebook group. The reason I don't ask you to post pictures here with questions in the public group is that there are thousands of you and, one of me, plus my little team. We're tiny but mighty, so we just can't get to everybody's questions. So that's why we don't take them other than on these Facebook Lives. All right, so great question there, Linda. I'm taking these off because I can't see without them. Let's see if there are any other questions on Facebook. Any other questions on Insta? Not seeing more questions, so I'm getting a lot of waves on Insta, so good to see you guys. You look good. All right, that's it. So if you have, wait a minute. If you have questions, oh, here we go. Questions are coming in. Gloria is saying, and again, I want to preface if you're joining us late, if you ask me a question where I need to see a picture of your space to answer you, Katie is not going to pass it to me from Instagram, and I'm going to pass over it here in Facebook, inputting here, because I can't give you good advice if I think I need to see something, and I only want to give you excellent guidance. Okay, so Gloria is saying, I have a bedroom that my daughter painted years ago before she moved out. It's a darker gray. I am needing to repaint 2 of the walls. I can't find the exact color now. Is it best for me to do lighter coordinating shade than try to match the color that's already there? Why not repaint the whole room? From repainting 2 walls to 4 rooms, I would just go with the ideal color, Gloria, and just call it a day, rather than starting to break up the room with 2 accent walls. I'm not loving that. I don't think a designer would do that. If you're looking for a high-end look, I wouldn't recommend it. I just repaint the whole room, or repaint 3 walls and keep one as the accent in that darker gray, provided that that accent wall is behind your bed. Best advice for you without saying a pick. All righty, Gloria, good luck with that one, with your project. Kim is saying, what size area would you consider being large enough to have 2 area rugs? You know, I'd like to say that I have like one solid answer, but I've done it in, let's see, how big was that rustic glam bedroom? That was like 20 feet by 20 by 20? Probably. 20, it's about like 20 by 20 for a bedroom. I would do 2, we did 2 area rugs, actually 3, but I did a family room that's 20 by 23. It called for just 1 rug. That's how it really looked good. It called for 1 large rug in the seating zone, and then there's an unrugged area where there's a small game table. So it's a case-by-case basis, but I'm gonna, so in other words, I just told you about 2 basically 20 by 20 foot rooms, 20 by 22 foot rooms. One was perfect with multiple zones and 2 different area rugs. One was not. So it depends upon your furniture setup, okay? That's why I said earlier, you've got to get excellent at space planning. We're doing a whole space planning workshop during the Design Diva conference, because you guys, I don't know if you know this, but space planning is not just one of those things you have to do like balancing your checkbook. No, you screw up your space plan, your room is never going to look gorgeous. Your room is never going to have a good rhythm. Your room is never going to look beautiful. Your room is never going to feel good to you, ever, ever, ever. Space planning is one of the most underestimated and undervalued techniques or skills for a lot of design aficionados or design lovers or design enthusiasts, I should say. Don't underestimate the power of a phenomenal plan. When we do a room plan, guys, you don't just try it one way. You try it 2 ways, 3 ways, 4 ways, however many ways that room will map out. I want you to do it. I want you to see what works and why, what doesn't work and why. I want you to see what your maximum sizes are for things, what your minimum sizes are for things. I want you to see what your pass-through spaces are. What works and why will jump off the page to you before you go shopping, before you invest that time, that energy, that legwork, and the moolah that goes along with all the purchasing. So Kim, I hope I answered you. If you have a more specific question, feel free to throw in a follow-up. Kalinda is saying, in an open space, should the living area and kitchen be coordinated or have separate design concepts? Definitely, they should be in conversation, Kalinda. Definitely, definitely, definitely. You do not have to. When you have adjoining rooms, you want to have, really, when you have adjoining rooms or open concept, there needs to be a marriage involved in what's happening. Garanimals, matchy-matchy, no, but a color palette should be rolling through. The lines of the furniture shapes should all be consistent. The design style should be consistent. So the only time a luxury designer, a designer is doing those Pinterest rooms that you love, the house rooms that you love, the Instagram rooms that you love. The only time we will ever break into something completely different, Kalinda, would be on the second floor of a home, of a residence, or regardless of the size of that residence. Let's say a master bedroom or a guest room or a contained space behind a closed door. Then if you want to do something, you want to step out in your daughter's room, you want to do something with, I don't know, pink, green, and cream, go for it, even though downstairs is, gray and white and farmhouse. So in a detached space that is contained behind a door, you can do it. And you can do it on a first floor too, if it's a home office, a powder room. But I will tell you, it is rare that designers go into we won't break into a totally different design style. We will maybe change up a color palette more so. I did just do a residence where the family wanted in their guest rooms, they wanted different design styles. So we did it. It was a lot of fun. But we married those spaces into the rest of the residence by virtue of a part of the neutral color palette that moved through them. Okay, so gray and cream was consistent, but one room picked up a little bit of purple. and pink, and another room picked up a little red, and another room picked up a little orange. So hope I answered you there. Keep it all in conversation. Style should be consistent, an open concept and adjoining spaces. Color palette should be consistent as well. And if you wanted to, on a second story, behind a closed door, the bedroom, the bathrooms, if you wanted to break into something a little different, you can. But more and more, honestly, at the upper end where elegance is driven, we do something that's very consistent through a home. And then maybe, again, one contained space. The craft room has a different vibe. Okay, hopefully that helps you, Kalinda. 2 last questions, final call on questions. If you've submitted a question and we didn't take it on Instagram or on Facebook, that would just mean that we felt that your question needed a picture for me to be able to answer you well, and that's why we didn't take your question or we didn't see your question. So I don't see any more questions on Facebook. So Facebook, last call, going once, twice, and 3 times for you there. We're gonna, I think Katie's scribbling, so I think there is something coming in on Instagram. And I just want to let you know that we love you so much and we love connecting with you. We hope you'll connect with us too, and we hope that you'll follow us on Instagram at decorating.genius. You're already doing that, so thank you, Insta. But at decorating.genius is our way to continue the conversation throughout the week, also let you know what we're up to. And I definitely would encourage you, if you don't know how to do a strong color plan, if you do not know how to do a great furniture layout, check out my Decorating Genius course. Go to theinteriordesignadvocate.com and then go to the products page, and you can see our Decorating Genius course. It's a phenomenal course and women love it. It's a game changer. All right, question coming in from Georgia. Georgia Decor. Can design style be different inside the and the outside? I get this question a lot. I think it can be, honestly. I mean, I live in the Philadelphia area, and a lot of colonial architecture here, very colonial inspired, I should say, very traditional architecture, and we'll do a more modern vibe for people inside. And there are some homes that look very Frank Lloyd Wright out here where I am, and I assume that if you're buying that home, you probably don't have cabriole legs on your furniture and Queen Anne, you know, style furniture. You're probably a little more modern, or at least transitional in your furniture styles. So the question is, Georgia, I think that people are generally consistent in the kind of home they purchase and the type of design style they want. But I think a lot of people are purchasing very traditional homes, and design is moving into this greater eclecticism by way of transitional design, which is this great title that means it's a little traditional, it's a little modern, you mush them together, you get transitional, and transitional can either lean a little more traditional, or transitional can lean a little more modern. So Georgia, if you're designing for a client by your handle, I'm thinking maybe you're a professional designer. If you're designing for a client, I would love to see you find out what their design fingerprint is first. What are they drawn to? And then advise them based upon that home style. Say, listen, given what your home is, I think this really works with your design fingerprint, and it speaks to the architecture of the home. I don't think you can ignore a home's architecture. In fact, one of the workshops I'm teaching at the Design Diva conference, which is a slightly more advanced workshop, but it is good for everybody. If you can chew gum and walk, you can do this workshop and you'll love it. But I talk about the fact that there are ways to listen to architecture in a room that will actually start to inform the furniture shapes that you start to put into that room. It's amazing. And when you start to think this way, furniture shopping gets so much easier. So Georgia, I think you can have diverging styles, but I think, like all things in design, I think that there are exceptions to every rule. I think there are some homes with very modern exteriors that would look really strange with very traditional interiors. And there's some that you could probably push the envelope a little bit on. If I didn't answer you enough, Georgia, if you want to give me a more specific question, feel free to send in a follow-up. Final question. So send in that follow-up quickly, Georgia, if you're thinking you need to send me a follow-up. Last question coming. Okay, I think I got to Kalinda. Marianne is saying, can you do something? Can you do different flooring in bedrooms? Yes, you can. Kalinda's saying thank you. Getting thank yous from Kim, from Kalinda, no worries. Gloria is giving me a follow-up about a feature. She already has a feature wall behind the headboard. Ooh, Okay, so don't do more feature walls. You already have a feature wall, Gloria. Is white, and it's white and gray striped. Will the dark stripe look odd butting up against the lighter wall? I don't think so, Gloria, but I need to see a picture to be able to advise you well on that. That sounds pretty specific. So off the top of my head, I'm going to say you could be okay. All righty. All right, lovelies. Well, I think we got a lot going here today. That was great. Loved all your questions. You're so talented and you are so smart. I love taking you on the design journey, and I love seeing you surprise yourselves with what you're creating as I see you coaching through your projects in my private groups. It's such an honor to me to be part of your design journey. Next week, 4 p.m. Tuesday, I will see you here. We're talking about how to actually accomplish your design goals. So I will see you this coming Tuesday, 4 p.m. And in the meantime, have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye. Hugs.